Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita Finley.
Well, you heard her name before, Linda Gassenheimer. It's a very memorable name. It's memorable, as a matter of fact. And Linda is very memorable because she does things that are really exciting. And, of course, I've listened to her on the NPR. But more importantly than that, I love her recipes in the book, Diabetes-Friendly Recipes Everyone Will Love. Really, everyone will love them, Linda. So thank you for writing that book.
Well, thank you for your kind comments. That's great. You know, everybody thinks that if you are a diabetic or pre-diabetic that you have to have steamed vegetables and, broiled fish or something every night, and you don't. You can have great flavors and really enjoy them.
And how is that? What gives it great flavors that's safe for people who have diabetes?
Okay, so this is the way, actually, the American Diabetes Association said this is the way we all should be eating. They're just good, healthy recipes. I mean, I take flavors from around the world, and it depends on your mood. I mean, maybe you like Chinese food or Asian food, and so I've got a Kung Pao chicken in the book. And people kind of get surprised at that, or maybe it's comfort food. So, Anita, how does this sound? A sangria braised pulled chicken sandwich.
I like it. Is there really sangria in there?
Of course, that's how you cook it. You cook the chicken in the sangria. How could I say it if it weren't? Would I fool you?
No. So they eat a little, they drink a little, right? They're happy.
Everybody's happy, let me tell you. But maybe you like Indian food. So how about a curry-kissed chicken? And so, it goes on. I've taken recipes from around the world. On the cover of the book, I put one of my favorite recipes there because it's so easy. And in fact, it's the one my husband keeps asking me to make all the time.
What is that?
And that's the horseradish-encrusted chicken. And this has a lot of flavor, and I'm using what some people think they're kind of afraid to use maybe, but this uses boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You don't only have to have chicken breasts. And the thighs have such a lot of flavor. They fit into the guidelines because every single recipe in this book is vetted by the American Diabetes Association, so you don't have to think about that. And I just put some mayonnaise and horseradish and breadcrumbs. That's the crust on the chicken. And then I put it in the oven. I put it on the skillet, sorry. And I just saute it for a few minutes each side. And, these are complete meals. So you don't have to say, well, what's going to go with it? How am I going to meet my guidelines, diabetes guidelines? You have to think about that because it's a home meal. And so with this dish goes garlic, sweet potatoes with sugar and snap peas. And I give you a method on how to do it in the microwave. What I like about that is whatever goes in the microwave, the dish goes in the dishwasher. Right. So I'm happy about that.
Well, the other thing is thighs are less expensive than breasts. Thighs are less expensive than breasts.
Sure. They probably won't be for long because everybody's loving them so much. But yes, they are. And what you do is you simply, you can see any fat that's on them on any of the chicken or recipes, and you just remove the visible fat. That's all, and just enjoy the food. And here's something else I've done in the book to help you. I've got a Parmesan chicken in the book with basil linguine, and I have a section on the recipes called Shop Smart. So you want to have some pasta sauce on hand because that can make a lot of recipes for you. But as we know, a lot of the pasta sauces have some things in that we shouldn't be eating, like a lot of salt, a lot of sugar. And so I've given you what to look for on the recipe, on the bottle rather, to know which one to buy. Because, Anita, I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the manufacturers are finally getting the message. They're giving us low salt and low sugar products that if you look on the supermarket shelves, you'll be able to find them.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and that's very important because we've known that a lot of salt and sugar is what makes it taste so good, but it doesn't have to be, and it's not good for us. But my guest is Linda Gassenheimer, best-selling author, and she's quite a foodie. I have to say that because she does this show, and of course I'm here now listening to you salivating because I think that chicken you just talked about is something I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and buy thighs today, and I'm definitely going to make it. It seems very simple, and actually the recipes in your book very, very simple, and you don't have to be a diabetic to enjoy it. It's just good food, but if you are a diabetic, it will help you. So people can get this book. You can go to, of course, Amazon.com, and it's called Quick and Easy Chicken. And is that all you need to tell people?
Right, and also you can go to diabetes.org and order the book or anywhere. And, please visit me if you have any questions on my website. It's dinnerinminutes.com. As you can see, I'm always thinking about those minutes.
Yes, I know.
Quick and easy.
Yeah, you do. You do a great job of that. But let's go further now. How about soups? Can people who are diabetic have soups?
Of course they can. I've got, how does this sound to you? A garlic chicken soup with sesame parmesan crostini.
You're kidding.
I'm getting drooly now.
Right.
I'm just thinking about this.
I am too.
I mean, this is the problem, that people feel they're afraid. They've been told by somebody that they have to have this, that, and the other thing, and they don't know what's on the list and what's off the list. And I don't like to tell them what's off the list. Just think of what's on the list and what's really simple and delicious. So with this soup, it's so easy. And by the way, I talked about the Shop Smart. Well, something I discovered while I was writing this book is that the major manufacturers who make chicken broth and chicken stock that you find in cans in the supermarket, they've now got an unsalted chicken broth.
Really?
With only 150 milligrams of sodium per cup, and that's down from 540.
That's excellent. So people have to go and look for that because that stock just makes everything better. You don't have to use a lot of the fat in your little pan when you're frying or when you're sautéing. That's wonderful. I'm going to go look for that. And is that
absolutely? And it's the major manufacturers. You don't have to only look for specialty stores. It's in your supermarket.
Okay. Well, that's an excellent. That's really shopping smart. But I have to assume you're not a diabetic.
No, I'm not a diabetic. But I wrote the original recipes for the South Beach diet.
Mm.
And because of that, the American Diabetes Association asked me to write for them. So this is my 5th book for them.
Wow.
And I have another book coming out in August, so it will be my 6th book.
And will that be chicken also? No.
No, it's one pot, delicious one pot dishes. So I love this book because I only had one pot to clean. That was it.
Right, one pot. Of course, a lot of knives and a lot of other things, but one pot, and you could use anything. Now, what is it that diabetics really can't have when they're cooking?
Well, first I'd like to say that every person's different. So it depends on how much activity you have, other ailments you might have. So you need to work with a diabetes educator or your doctor to determine what's best for you. But what you really need to look for is you need to count your carbohydrates, and you need to have about 45 to 60 grams a meal. But how do you know what is carbohydrate, and how do you know it's in all the food? That's why I have my blueprint right here for you in my book, all my books, so that once you've used the recipes, you get an idea of what you should be having. You need to cut back on your salt. Well, we all need to. The American, our government has said we need to cut back to about 2,500 milligrams of salt a day, which is about a teaspoon a day. I mean, how many of us have a teaspoon of salt a day? But the other thing is, for the American Diabetes Association, it's about 2/3 of a teaspoon of salt a day, 600 milligrams. And again, that's all figured for you in my recipes. And so you want to think about carbohydrates. Think about brown rice, whole grains, and that kind of thing.
Yes, that's really important. I'm glad you said that. That a lot of people really are just eating a lot of the fast foods, and it's full of fat, and it's full of salt, and it's quick. Even pizza. Yesterday, I went to a very fancy restaurant, and I thought I would just order a veggie burger thinking of it. It was so loaded with salt. And maybe I'm just, because I don't eat much salt, it was so delicious, but I really didn't like it because of the salt. Why do they do that?
Well, because they feel most people, that's what they're looking for and that's what they like. So if you started using some of my recipes, you would get used to not having a lot of salt. It might be a little difficult at first, but that's why I put so many ethnic flavors in and so many herbs and spices into my recipes, so you won't be missing the salt. But as you found out last night, what happens is that once you've got used to not having a lot of salt, you don't like it when you have it.
Right. No. Now, since I have you, I know this is, and I don't remember this being in your book. What do we do about tomatoes? Do we make our own tomatoes? Because tomato sauce, everything in cans, is so full of salt.
Right. But as I mentioned, you don't have to do that. In my book, in my Shop Smart, I tell you what to look for on the can. Now, they have many brands out now where if you're just going to get the canned tomatoes with no salt added. And so what you need to do is spend a little time in the supermarket, bring your glasses with you, and read the labels. And some of the labels are very small and hard to read, but they're there. And look and see what's on the labels. Once you find one that meets your qualifications, keep it on hand. Because if you have a bottle of the right kind of pasta sauce on hand, you've got some chicken in the freezer, you're good to go. You've got a quick and easy meal.
Yep, that's very true. And my guest is Linda Gassenheimer. She has a unique voice, as a matter of fact, and she's full of good tips on eating. And I know that she is a great chef because I listen to her and her cohorts there on NPR.
WLRN.
Right, yeah,
yes.
WLRN. But anyway, Linda, it's always great, and I love your book, and I'm going to look forward to this other book that's coming out. And I am going to go buy chicken thighs, and I'm going to go realize now and buy a lot of no salt, tomato sauce, and anything else. And I know I have a lot of I buy a lot of frozen vegetables, and they don't have salt. They're just natural. So that's been a very big help to me.
And that's great, and you can use them. And many of the vegetables are flash frozen right when they're picked, so they've still got their vitamins.
Right, and they're gorgeous. And well, you just keep doing what you're doing, and I'm so glad that the diabetic organization found you, the Diabetes Association, because it's hard I would think most people can't do recipes to suit them, but you can, and I hope everyone will buy your book. It's Quick and Easy Chicken, and if you can't get it on Amazon.com, which you can go to shopdiabetes.org. So we thank you so much, Linda, and I'm going to be thinking of you as I'm chomping on my chicken thighs.
Anita, it's wonderful to talk with you again. It was
the same
nice to
here.
meet you the other time. So thanks so much.
It's a pleasure, Linda. All right, bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.